You know, I am definitely not a sports fan whatsoever, but I do like it every year when the superb owl is on because it brings forth a whole bunch of goodies for us movie fans. And here's something that happened today. Hello everybody! So yeah, today has been a wild ride. Like I said, the superb owl was on, and in amongst all of the sports ball mayhem, woohoo, go team! It's also an occasion that's renowned for having really cool movie trailers and sneak peeks and stuff coming up. And today was definitely no different because we had a teaser for the trailer of the Solo film. We also had the awesome trailer for Mission Impossible Fallout and a look at the Jurassic World sequel thing, which I haven't actually looked at because I'm not a big Jurassic World fan. But that's beside the point. We also got a teaser for the next Cloverfield film, which was now called Cloverfield Paradox. But to our surprise, it was also announced that the film was going to be debuting on Netflix immediately after the game. Now, this is a film that I just recently had on my list of films I was looking forward to this year because it wasn't supposed to come out for a couple of months and it was supposed to be released theatrically. But these Cloverfield films have always been known for their clever marketing and little twists and turns. I mean, the first one was such a great example of that. So here it is. And I just need to point out real quick, normally when I do movie reviews, there's plenty of clips I can use on YouTube to scatter about throughout my review to demonstrate, you know, what I'm saying. But in this case, because this movie was sprung upon us so quickly, I don't really have a lot of clips to show you. So you're pretty much just gonna have to like watch me talking this time. Alrighty, so the Cloverfield Paradox, which is the third film in the series, is directed by Julius Onah, and it's set in the future. It tells a story of an international group of astronauts who are on a big space station thingy with a particle accelerator. Because back on Earth there's been a global energy crisis, and this thing is basically going to be saving humanity. While they're up there testing this thing out, they activate the device, but it causes kind of this strange disruption between dimensions. Because you get like one version of the space station in our dimension with another version of it in another dimension, and when the two of them sort of meet each other, well, some really weird stuff happens. So look, I am a really big Cloverfield fan. I thought the first one, it came so close to being in my top 10 most favorite movies of all time. I love the concept of it. I love the way it was done. I also love 10 Cloverfield Lane, which was a very loose, indirect sequel to that film. So naturally, as soon as I found out this one was on, oh boy, Netflix went on. I sat down on the couch, grabbed my chips, grabbed my dip, grabbed my cat. I was ready. So I'm watching this thing and yeah, straight away, like, it starts off in a really interesting sort of way. It's done in a conventional style of filming, so for all you people out there who don't like the shaky cam stuff, nothing to worry about there. And yeah, I was thinking to myself, okay, this is intriguing, you know, and then when we're on board this space station and weird things start happening, I started getting a little bit of an Alien vibe, as in like, uh-oh, are they just ripping this off? But I can definitely tell you no, the weird stuff that happens in this thing, yeah, was kind of bizarre and creepy. Not really scary like in an Event Horizon kind of a sense, which, I mean, people are going to compare this movie to that one, obviously, because you got weird stuff happening on board a space station. I didn't think it was quite as scary as that film. But creepy stuff does happen nonetheless. All around, look, the performances were good. As far as notable actors, we had Daniel Bruhl, who was in, I think it was Captain America Civil War. I could be wrong there, haven't done my research, trying to get this review out as quickly as possible. We also had Zhang Ziyi, I think her name is, you know, that Chinese girl from Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, and I think the Rush Hour film. And also Chris O'Dowd, who is Roy from the IT Crowd, was in this film, delivering a little bit of a comedic sort of slant. I mean, you know, this guy, what else can he do other than comedy? Not entirely sure if that comedy was welcome in this film, though. And that was one of the things, yeah, the film was a little unbalanced in its tone, I felt. The comedy didn't really belong, and there were just some things that happened that I don't know, were just sort of a bit borderline silly. And as the film went on, I don't know, I just started losing interest. I thought the science part of the science fiction was a bit oversimplified. I mean, when the crew, you know, when they've fired this thing off and they've wound up in another dimension, you know, their solution to this whole thing is, hey, let's fire it again and we'll go back. It's like, oh, really? I was kind of hoping for maybe something a little bit more involved than that. And in a movie that should have been racked with tension and suspense, for me personally, I didn't feel there was any. I mean, one of the weird things that happened is that we're introduced to this new crew member who wasn't part of their crew, but was on the other dimension version of the spaceship. And I gotta admit, that scene was pretty cool. But with what happens to her character's journey, towards the end, like, yeah, there should have been a lot more tension, but there really wasn't, and there was just, I don't know, a lot of stuff that happened at the end that, or towards the end, that I was just kind of like, well, you know, why is this really happening? And if you're wondering if this film explains why there was a giant monster in the first movie and aliens in the second movie, yes it does, which I guess I've kind of already explained why, because there was a dimensional rip, so you get things crossing into our dimension, so yeah, there was that. But I have to say, for someone such as me who is a massive fan of the Cloverfield series, I was disappointed at the end. Like I said, there was just no tension. The characters I didn't really feel that attached to, which in this kind of story you really need to be, because it should be more character driven, being that, you know, you got this bunch of people stuck in this little place. But that being said, look, it wasn't the worst movie I've seen. I mean, it was kind of enjoyable while I was watching it. It was mildly interesting the way it tied into the first film, except for the very last shot, which just felt really shoehorned in. And let's face it, it's not going to cost you anything to see this film, well, apart from your Netflix subscription. So I'm going to give the Cloverfield Paradox a 6 out of 10. Alrighty, so by now I imagine there's quite a fair few people who have seen this film, so I'm going to throw it over to you guys. What did you guys think of the Cloverfield Paradox? I mean, yeah, I was a little disappointed, but did you guys like it more than I did? And out of the three, which one is your favorite Cloverfield movie? So drop me some comments either here or on Facebook. All the social media links are in the description below, because I like to talk about movies, and I would love to talk about movies with you. I'll catch you next time.
Click subscribe to stay up to date with all the latest movie reviews. Skynet will be taking over any day now, so what have you got to lose? Nyah.